and I'm a bit ambivalent on this, but I do look at the next coming months up to now, and quite frankly, I'm not even thinking in election mode, because we actually have such an enormous task list ahead of us at the moment. This council has a lot on its books at the moment, with the plan changes it's in the middle of, with the commitment to stakeholder groups, to the there's a lot going on at the moment in Regional Council. It might not all be up here at the head end in the council meeting. The councillors are involved at the moment in quite a heavy workload. And I actually bring to attention the distress that was expressed at the last stakeholder meeting that I was at the lack of councillors there who'd been appointed to that stakeholder meeting. And of course, one of that was occasioned by the resignation of the then Councillor Dadelszen. So certainly in that work that's going on behind the scenes, our stakeholders are expecting a full commitment from the councillors in fronting up to these positions. And I don't think it's a case of, I'm not talking about the qualities of anybody who's there, has stood in the past, or standing in the future. The fact is, there's also a very long-standing convention that the next polling candidate is the person, and because that is the mandate of the public, that is one, their first choice is no longer there, then that it falls to the next on the list. So I think it's within the conventions of that. I also look, when I talk about the plan changes, of course, there's the planning committee, and we're already in the fact that that committee is looking at further representation to give balance to our treaty partners, and leaving it short on this side means how many people are going to appoint for no reason, then we have to put the numbers up on that committee. I mean, there is a commitment that we front that committee with a full complement of council. And that is one of the really important things. And we do have at the moment a huge load on with plan changes. So I think at this stage that having a full complement of council is quite frankly the best way forward.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, no, I can't support the motion on the floor. We're a small council of 9, and that number was established through a very thorough process. And I believe that the electors and the ratepayers of this region expect us to front up with a full complement. And also, it's most important, in my view, that the various constituencies retain their numbers and their strength. And there is very serious work that's in progress, which Councillor Scott's alluded to. We also have an annual plan to go through. There is an issue, I believe, that will be quite important to Hastings in the course of those deliberations, and I don't believe that that constituency should be handicapped by having one less member. The views of prospective candidates for the next election, in my view, are quite irrelevant, and I will not focus on the person who has been indicated as being prepared to serve if that was Council's wish, except to say that there is clearly strong support for that gentleman 2.5 years ago, and he is a person who has qualities that would enable him to hit the road running, and in particular some work that Council is doing quietly in the transport field. He would be a great asset. So I can't support Councillor Curtin's motion. We're a council line and we should stay that way.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very surprised to hear some of my colleagues supporting supporting the idea that we should make a political appointment in June, when the election season officially opens in July, and as we all know, it's already started. We're not required to make an appointment at this time. We have the leeway to leave that position open. It's only for a few months. There's actually 3 full council meetings between when somebody could be appointed, and 5 committee meetings before the election. It's really not very, very much. And normally the council workload really slows down during that election period. And in fact, if somebody was appointed, they would not be up to speed because they haven't sat around this table for 3 years or more. If somebody was appointed, they wouldn't be on the Transport Committee because those positions are already filled as well. I think that this has nothing to do with who the person is. It's not a judgment of anybody. This is just what is the best process and the fairest process. But as it happens, we haven't had the chance to evaluate the candidate publicly or investigate his credentials in any kind of process. And as somebody pointed out, the public already decided that they didn't want him at the previous election. As far as the big thing that this council is most interested in, which is the Ruataniwha Dam, that decision will not be made until next year. It will not be made this year. It's already, that process is going ahead. So, but what really concerns me about this idea is that if we were to appoint, it would give that person a very unfair advantage on the other opponents who may be standing for the upcoming election. And it makes the public think that this council here, and it would only be 4 councillors actually, are making a political decision on behalf of Hastings residents, which they have really no cause to make. I think that if we do make this appointment, it would really give quite an unpleasant odour to this council, rather than just leaving the thing open and letting the process go through. So, Mr. Chair, I do support this recommendation by Councillor Curtin, and I hope that that you will exercise the convention of using your casting vote to remain with the status quo. And one final point, you said that it's not fair for Hastings to have 3 councillors. Well, in actual fact, the Local Government Commission has decided that next term Hastings will in fact have 3 councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly note the various comments of my colleagues and was somewhat astonished by others. I would point out, Mr. Chairman, and Councillor Gilbertson pointed out, that there had been a number of absences by councillors over the past 3 years, and my tally of the last 18 council meetings is that 12 of them, in fact, were attended by 8 councillors. So the logic is somewhat fraught in that regard. Mr. Chairman, it worries me when I looked at this initially, this proposal, the immediate response was the convention is so close to an election to leave a vacancy. When you examine similar vacancies around councils around the country, I could not find an example of where a vacancy that close to an election had in fact been filled. There are 15,000 reasons not to. That is to save the ratepayer $15,000 for an exercise. Quite frankly, Mr. Chairman, my antennae go up when I see this, and what I'm seeing are deals being done to preserve positions and to retain positions by councillors around this table. And by that, Mr Chairman, I'm suggesting that what's happened here, and I'll be interested to see any further comments on the later recommendations, because we actually haven't determined the person to be nominated should this proposal be lost. It'll be interesting, Mr Chairman, to see what discussions councillors have had around this table with the likes of Mr Douglas or other candidates, and what I say is an effort to bolster up and shore up their positions. At the bottom of the line, Mr Chairman, is the prospect.
You have no proof of that, Councillor. I'd have to call order on that.
Mr Chairman, we're in debate and it's a...
Well, we are, but you're making erroneous comments with no backing.
Well,
so
Mr Chairman, it'll be interesting to see.
Order, Councillor, order.
Yeah.
Stick to the fact.
Well, Mr Chairman, the public may be disturbed and concerned that dirty deals have been done by councillors to preserve their positions, and I'm in...
Order, cease and desist.
Well, Mr
please,
Chairman,
Councillor.
I'm just pointing out the
there was
dangers that we
no
face.
evidence of
Mr.
any
Chairman,
deal
point of order.
in either way.
That comment is clearly against both the spirit and the letter of standing orders.
Absolutely.
Well,
Please
Chairman,
conclude,
I
Councillor.
will. Well, certainly. Yes. Well, let's put it this way. I'm sure that there have been discussions, and you've confirmed that yourself, Mr Chairman, with potential candidates. And I'd be interested to know what the content of those discussions were and any undertakings made thereof. Mr Chairman, I put it to you that this is not a decision to be made by 4 councillors with the unconventional casting vote of the chair. This is a decision that should be made by the public of Hawke's Bay and the constituents of Hastings. They're the ones that should decide, not the 4 councillors who may or may not have some wider agenda afoot in making the decision to proceed in this direction. I look forward to the vote of all of my colleagues on this.
Thank you. So all those in favour, please raise your hand. I suspect is where we need to go with this one. Against? Casting vote against. Lapses, fails. Okay, a new... yes. Question, yes.
It appears to me that we've been told that the convention is that the next highest polling candidate be considered for the position.
As is MMP, yes.
There's also a convention that the chairman votes in favour of the status quo.
And the status quo is 9 councillors, Councillor. Could I have someone move another motion, please?
Mr Chairman, I'd like to move a motion that resolves that the vacancy to be for the appointment of the due to the resignation of Councillor von Dadelszen be Dr. David Marshall.
Lapses without a second. That's fine. I suspect we're going to be here for quite a while. You wish to speak?
Well, Mr Chairman,
Clarification, I don't know of a Dr. David.
I have no idea who David Marshall is either. No.
I know of David Marshall, but not a Dr. David
Yes.
Marshall.
Mr Chairman, I'm making a suggestion that a very esteemed Dr. David Marshall, who's a...
Actually, could I ask a question? Is he available?
yes.
So
Mr.
you've been
Chairman.
talking to him?
Yes.
And so there's a deal being done there?
Yes, Mr
Yeah,
Chairman.
okay, Councillor. Just so we're clear. You wish to speak?
The point about that, Mr Chairman, is that David Marshall, as I understand it, is not seeking election post the next time round. What I'm suggesting, Mr Chair, in making the nomination is that we ought to be seen as a council to be entirely neutral in our decision making. We ought to be in a position that is beyond repute, or that the reputation of the council is maintained, and beyond rebuke, I should say, so that we've got, if we are going to fill such a vacancy, then we are not being accused of showing bias towards any particular potential candidate for election, and we are not in a position to be accused of making deals, and we're not in a position of having, if you like, the suggestion that council has placed an imprimatur or given advantage to any particular candidate. So I think there's merit in, as much as I suggest that we shouldn't make an appointment and have argued for that, that it would be a much safer position for council to proceed in this direction than any other, given the circumstances and problems that arise when councillors proceed down a road to appoint in these circumstances so close to an election.
A question,